as you can probably tell, I haven't been doing that much writing this year. I don't want to give myself the excuse of having been in a writing slump, because at this point I don't really want to give myself that excuse. I feel like if I give myself that excuse every time I don't write for a couple of months, I will just keep doing it. So as you all know, I wrote a first draft. It was a very rough first draft back in 2018, and I've been trying to revise it. I've been trying to re-outline it for the past year and a bit. So I thought I would crack down, force myself to outline the whole story in 24 hours. And I wanted to follow the John Truby's anatomy of story. Okay, so I haven't really explained how I'm going to structure my writing day. Basically, I'm gonna do writing sprints. So I downloaded the Forest app because I hear that it's really good for productivity and like writing and stuff, and writing sprints are really good for me. I know that they've helped me in the past. So I did 15 minutes, and I felt that that was a little long for me because I haven't been writing in a while, so 15 minutes is a little long. I've also been listening to the virtual writing that the Word Nerds have done, so I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break. What time is it? It is 3:06, and I am going to give myself maybe a 10-minute break, because and during these breaks that I'm gonna do in between the writing sprints, I can do whatever I want. Okay, so I actually fell asleep, which I'm really bummed about, but you know what, it's fine. I think I decided to have a little bit of a rest around 5 o'clock, and I put my phone on an alarm for like 20 minutes, and then I just didn't wake up, and it's 8 o'clock, so I went to sleep for about 3 hours, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep writing. What I did want to comment on, what I noticed about my outlining and what I think is the main issue and why I haven't been able to kind of progress in my outlining, is that whenever I write how the story is gonna go, so John Truby talks about this like what if section in his developing story, you know, section, and he was talking about how you have to write down everything that could happen in your story. Now whenever I get to that part, I get stuck halfway through, and I noticed that the way I was writing my story is all very internal. Everything that I've developed inside my own head is very internal, and it's very it's like the underlying story and the metaphorical side of the story, I guess. Like I would say like, oh, the main character befriends someone who's not good for her, and she's not good for her because she's a manipulative person, and this triggers her attachment style or something because she feels she's been feeling neglected, blah 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 blah. And that's good to like know, and that's the thing that motivates me, because that's the thing that I want to write about. But what I don't know and what I haven't been outlining and writing is the physical, the literal events that is going to take place in my story. And I think that's why I would write half of it and then get stuck, because I didn't figure the literal events out. All I know is the beginning parts and the inciting incident and all that stuff. So I'm gonna, this time around while I'm outlining, I'm gonna try and fix that, and I'm gonna try and write from like a literal perspective.
Your skill is extraordinary.
I think I've realized a pattern with myself. I've been trying to outline this story for about 2 years, and I noticed that every time I follow the John Truby method, I get stuck in the exact same place, and that is the step 4, which is to find the designing principle. Essentially what he says in this book is that the designing principle is the symbol or the metaphor of the overall story. It's the internal message of the story. So the premise is what is actually happening on the page, and the designing principle is the message of the story, if that makes sense. And I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this, because I feel like I know my story inside and out. I know exactly what I want to tell. I know the internal struggles of my main character, and I know what I want her to go through. It's supposed to be a coming of age story, so I know that a lot of it is in her own doing and it's in her own head, and I have a lot of flaws for her that works really well with the premise that I'm trying to tell. But when it comes to like pinning it down as a designing principle or a metaphor or a symbol or something, I'm finding it really hard, and it's making me stuck. I also just don't know if I should like leave it for now and not work on it, or if I should just push through so that I can actually get the outline done. I did it. I finished an outline. Well, technically I only finished the premise side of the outline, but I did it, and it's only like what, 7 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. I was originally, so basically there's like the second chapter of this book by John Truby, and the chapter that I worked on is called the premise. There are 10 steps that go into trying to develop your premise, and it's all about the characters that you choose, and it's all about the theme of the story and the designing principle, and just how you want to tell your story. That's basically the outline process that I worked on. There is another chapter after it which is called the 7 steps structure, and that's to do with, like, it goes even deeper to what you want to work on when it comes to writing your story. So it has a lot to do with like figuring out the weakness and the need of the character, and I was going to work on this one because this one's pretty short, and the next chapter after this is the characters, but I don't feel like I need to work too much on the characters for right now, because I feel like for this stage in my writing I have a pretty good idea of who my characters are and the roles that they play, so I don't really need to work on the character chapter that's after this. But I was gonna work on this one tonight as well to see if I can squeeze it in, because there's like 7 steps, but it's a lot more in depth, and I am not gonna lie, I'm so tired, I am exhausted. I've only slept for 3 hours and I am no longer a teenager, so I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I'm actually super proud that I ended up doing this, because I've been wanting to do this for so long. I just haven't been able to motivate myself and just sit down and write. I might do the 7 stages thing tomorrow. I might vlog it. I don't know if I will. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me right now. Let me know how you're going with your writing, if you are participating in any sort of writing challenge for yourself. And I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in another video soon.